Today we are going to stretch some watercolor paper. We have these are stretcher bars. These are heavy duty pro stretcher bars. This is an 18 by 24. You buy these in sections, like you'll buy a pair of these and a pair of these, so you can make any size you want. This is also for stretching canvas, but this time we're going to stretch watercolor paper. So my watercolor paper is soaking in the tub, and we'll let it soak for about 5 minutes or so. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to be sure all my edges are perfectly flush. Here, these edges are perfectly flush where they meet. You don't want sharp edges on here on these corners, and you want them to be flush. So you may have to take a hammer and tap them until they're all perfectly flush on all 4 sides. Okay. And feel them to be sure they're smooth. So then I just basically take a sanding block. You can get these Home Depot, anywhere. And I sand the edges just so they don't tear the paper. I do this for canvas as well. As you can see, these edges are quite sharp. And once it feels smooth, you've taken off all the sharp edges. Once your edges are all smooth, you're going to clean off your surface. And you're going to lay the front side, this part, down onto the paper. All right. I want this to be evenly placed on my paper as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. I have a stapler here. I have my watermark on the outside, on the underneath, so I know that that watermark's going to be on the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is gently, with clean hands, I'm going to fold this over and staple it. Then I'm going to go to this side, and be careful with this surface. You try not to put dents in it, because those dents will show up. Then I'm going to keep working it. It's malleable now because it's wet, which is pretty amazing, I think. We'll decide in a minute how we want to do these corners. I think we'll go ahead and staple this long edge all along here first. I'm just gently folding this in. And you can put as many staples as you'd like in here. The more the better, probably, honestly. Alright. Now, before we fold this, we need to decide about these corners. But I think I'm going to put a few more staples in here, just to help us. And this will all flatten out as it dries. The interesting thing about this is it'll dry as tight as a drum. It's really amazing how tight this paper dries, because you have really stretched the paper here. I think I'll go ahead and put this here. It's close to that corner. Now, we have to decide if we're going to fold this corner in and over like this, or if we're going to fold it in like this and over on top. So I think we're going to fold it in this way and over. So first thing I need to do is get that corner right there down. All right. And on this corner, same thing. And these corners need to be tight as you can get them. The one thing I don't like about doing this is sometimes you get these corners that are rounded or kind of look sloppy. So be sure you've got a tight corner there. And bring this in as much as you want to. And I even can kind of crease this to make this just look nicer when you fold it. So, getting it all tight. See, we want this tight right here and not bulky. Okay. You could do a different corner, you know, if you're into folding sheets and you have a certain way you like to do things. You can certainly do it that way as well. So just tighten in this corner. And I'm going to put a few more in there. All right. And we're going to flatten these corners out. We'll work on that in a minute. I'm going to pull this tighter right here. Anywhere that I'm see it buckling, I'm going to put another staple. And of course you have to work relatively quickly because the whole time your paper is drying. Now we're going to move it along to this side. You could have cut a little excess off here if you chose to. It doesn't bother me that much. But I am going to make this corner as tight as I can. Again, for that reason, this paper is very thick. This is Fabriano Artistico paper. Very nice paper. So we're just making this tidy. Now I'm going to bring it, and let's do that one as well. So really the staple gun is your friend here. All right, so now we've got this nice tight edge. And we'll do the same thing we did over there. And I'm squeezing down this paper to make it as flat as possible here. So there you have it. Here is your stretched paper. Next thing I'm going to do here is take this little thing called a brayer. This is a brayer. Okay, it's for rolling out and flattening things. I'm just going to flatten out these edges. All right, there you have it. There's your watercolor. There's your watercolor paper on a stretcher. And when it's dry, it's going to dry tight, just like a drum.